Welcome to your first somatic movement lesson. So for all the lessons, I'm going to suggest that you get a blanket to lie on. A yoga mat is a little too sticky. This adds a little bit of a softness and a bit of slippability, which you'll understand when we start the lessons. So the first lesson is called the arch and flatten, and it addresses directly both the green light reflex pattern and the red light reflex pattern as per the previous presentation. So let's begin. Begin by lying on your back with your knees bent. Just take note of your pelvis here in its neutral position. There's a little space, a gap in your low back area, which is a natural curvature of your spine. Think of your pelvis as a rolling pin, which you can roll down towards your feet and you can roll up towards the head. The rolling pin stays on the floor. So begin by rolling your pelvis forward towards your feet. That's when our back starts to arch, and you can see that there's now a bigger gap between the low back and the floor. Also notice you can use your hands. You can feel the muscles of your low back and feel how they're hard and contracted. This is a voluntary contraction of your low back muscles, and then you're going to slowly release them little by little. So it's awareness of the muscles, and then a slow release, and then off. So let's try that one again. So you're going to roll your pelvis forward, arching the back. Move only in a range that is comfortable. Do not move in pain. So it might be small, and that's okay. Feel the back muscles working, and then can you control the release by slowly letting go a little bit, and then a little bit more, and so forth, and just let it melt towards the floor until you feel it's off. Okay, let's try that again. Roll the pelvis forward, sense and feel the low back contract. Pause here. Notice that we are moving into the green light reflex pattern. This is how our body responds directly to that positive stress when we need to take action, when the alarm goes off, when we have to catch that train, when we've got things to do. The back muscles contract just like this. Slowly let that melt back to neutral until you feel those back muscles are off. Pause for a moment to notice what it feels like to have them be off. By doing this movement, we are retraining our brain by voluntarily moving into that green light response and then voluntarily releasing out of it with control. This retrains your muscles back to their natural length. So let's now explore the opposite direction. So roll your pelvis backward towards your head. Your back will flatten and you'll feel your belly muscles engage. So just bring your hands on your belly, pause here, and feel the hardness there of your abdominal muscles. Then slowly release the abdominals little by little until you feel the pelvis roll back to start or neutral. Okay, let's try that again. You can breathe in if you like. As you exhale, flatten the back, roll the pelvis towards your head, and pause here for a second. So now the back is flat, that's not working, and the belly, the opposite side, is working. Here, we're directly connecting to the red light reflex pattern, which is in response to fear, danger, and worry. So slowly release that little by little until you feel that melt back to neutral. Let's try that again. So rolling the pelvis backward, flattening the back, belly engages. You'll also feel your ribs start to draw down towards the pelvis, so we're closing that gap between the hip bones and the ribs. Also notice your head might tilt back like this. That's correct. And then can you release from the front of the body? Release the belly muscles, slowly melting that, but with control. We go slow so we can pay attention to the details. There might be some jumpiness in the movement, and that's okay, until you feel, that's softened and let go. So that was the red light reflex response that we voluntarily went into so that we can voluntarily release out of. This retrains our brain, so we're not a victim of the stress that comes in our lives. So we can do both of those now together with the breath. So let's start to roll the pelvis down towards your feet, arch the back, and inhale here. Breathe into the belly, let the belly relax. We want the opposite side of the body to soften. And then exhale, melt the back to the floor, to neutral. Then pause in neutral, take a breath in. As you exhale, flatten the back, pelvis rolls towards the head, belly engages, ribs draw in and down. And then slowly releasing the belly. So releasing the front of the body, make sure your back isn't working until you're back to neutral. We'll do one more of those. So inhale as you arch your back, pelvis rolls forward towards the feet. Notice that your head, kind of lengthens, your neck lengthens and gets long. Slowly release the back muscles until you're to neutral. Pause in neutral to take a breath in. Exhale, flatten the back. Ribs draw down, head might respond. Allow the head to respond how it wants to, and then slowly release back to neutral. Straighten the legs and notice how your body rests against the floor now. Sense the low back. Does it feel like it's less arched, less tight? Is it lying a little closer to the floor than before? Notice the belly. Does it feel a little softer and longer? When you breathe, does the belly respond to the breath? Just notice what it is that you've created.